What's up everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Care, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my experience with Regain after losing 135 pounds. I really want to keep this a positive video, not a depressing video, even though some of the things I'm going to be talking about are kind of difficult for me and are sensitive subjects for me. But in the last few months, I've been going through kind of a difficult time, and I have regained 20 pounds from my lowest weight. My lowest weight being 165, so I'm currently around 185. Starting in January, I kind of disappeared from my Instagram for a few months and recently made a post apologizing for being gone for so long and kind of explaining that I'd been going through a rough time. I didn't really talk about the regain that I'd been going through. I think because I was kind of ashamed and embarrassed of it. I think when you gain any sort of following on social media for something like weight loss, you experience more pressure to be successful. You don't want to let your followers down, you don't want to let your family down, anyone that could be watching you on social media, because you've made it your job to help motivate people, help bring hope to those people. So when you fuck up or when you fail or feel like you're failing, you kind of want to hide that, keep it to yourself. It's not that I was necessarily hiding my regain. I think I just didn't want to face it, and I didn't want to explain, I guess, why I was struggling. Everyone goes through personal struggles and battles that you know nothing about, that none of us know anything about, because not everyone's entire life is put on social media. When I first gained all of my weight, a few years ago, it wasn't the first time I'd gained huge amounts of weight. I'd gained 70 pounds before, lost it. I gained 150 pounds in like 1 year, which is really, really crazy. But I gained that weight because I fell into a depressing period of my life, where I was eating for comfort. I was eating to feel better, like a lot of food addicts do. Throughout my life, not only did I struggle with food addiction, I battled anorexia and bulimia for years. It's been 5 years since I was bulimic, and I'm very proud of myself for that. But even though I don't do the purging side of bulimia, I still binge, and that is why I talk about BED, or binge eating disorder. I struggle with that on like a day-to-day basis, but I've been doing really well during this quarantine, as I talked about in my last video. So it's been weeks since my last binging episode. I think a lot of the reasons I struggled with food addiction and eating disorders throughout my life are because of past childhood trauma. This is the reason a lot of people struggle with eating disorders and things like that. I'm not going to go into those right now. I think I'm going to make a separate video addressing my struggles with depression and eating disorders, but a lot of those past experiences resurfaced a few years ago, and I think that's what led to my binge eating and my depression and ultimately my weight gain. I worked very, very hard to work off this 135 pounds, and so obviously when I started regaining in January, it was very terrible for me. And that's the terrible thing about regain, is when you eat to feel better because you're depressed or because you are trying to fill some void, that weight comes back on, and that only makes you more depressed, makes you feel worse, which makes you want to eat more to feel better again. And it's a really vicious cycle that is easy to fall into. And people cope with depression and struggles with different things. But for me, it was food, and it is food. I mean, I've said this before, I am always going to be a food addict. It's something I'm always going to struggle with, and I'm okay with that. But after I gained those 15 to 20 pounds, I thought to myself, I don't really know why you're hiding. That's stupid. I don't know why you're afraid of what people are going to think, or if you're afraid of being judged. I think regain is something that so many people experience and struggle with, especially those who have had weight loss surgery. It's a huge fear people have. I know that surgeons say that a 15 to 20 pound regain is actually normal after surgery, but it doesn't make it any easier to see that number start creeping up on the scale. And it's kind of funny. I have many friends who have never gone through extreme weight gain or weight loss, and when they see me kind of panicking or getting down on myself about gaining 5-10 pounds, they don't understand it, and they're kind of like, well, what's the big deal? It's just 10 pounds. Don't worry. Come on, just like eat a piece of cake. It's fine. Don't be hard on yourself. That's very easy for someone to say that has never been through what we've been through. And not only having battled eating disorders and really low self-esteem, losing that much weight, it changes you and it makes you extremely, extremely paranoid about any weight gain. So when someone else sees that as just 10 pounds being gained, I see it as almost like flashbacks to the first time I gained that weight. So even though this regain might seem really insignificant and small to a lot of people, it really does affect like every aspect of my life. My self-confidence is lower. I haven't wanted to take a lot of pictures of myself. That's why I haven't been on Instagram. So like I said, it's not as much that I was hiding the fact that I regained. It was mostly because I was ashamed and I didn't even want to take pictures of myself. Because I felt like my before and after pictures were like going backwards almost. And that's a really, really hard thing to see when a lot of people are looking up to you and you want to be this example of like hope to people. So sorry. But like I said, it's easy to fall into a depressing cycle where you just start gaining and keep gaining, feeling worse about yourself. It just continues. I know the cycle, trust me. I've been through it tons of times in my life. And I'm right there with you if you are going through that. Not only has weight gain affected just, you know, my confidence in wanting to take pictures, but like even, sounds so stupid, but even like FaceTiming people that I haven't seen in weeks. You know, they're like, oh, how are you doing in quarantine? Like, I want to FaceTime you, I want to see how you're doing. And literally it's gone through my head, I don't want them to see me because they're going to be able to tell that I've gained weight. And that's so fucking sad. Like really close friends or people you consider family, you don't want them to know. Like, that's so messed up. I don't know, it affects your relationships, or at least it does for me. If any of you guys are in relationships or have a significant other, you guys might know what I'm talking about. When you have lower self-confidence, you feel less attractive, you feel undesirable. You know, even if your boyfriend, your girlfriend, anyone you're interested in, even if they say things like, you're still beautiful, who cares? Well, I care, you know? And I think that when you have lower self-esteem, it reflects in different ways in a relationship. You can just get down on yourself and feel depressed, and there's nothing your significant other can say to make you feel better or to make you feel beautiful. And it can cause a lot of confusion, a lot of arguments. It can lead to so many things when you have insecurities and you're feeling insecure with yourself. So I have to fight off those negative feelings constantly because I don't want to take them out on other people. You know, I don't want my own personal problems to affect other people. So it truly, truly does affect so many parts of my life when I regain, and I'm assuming it's the same for other people. The other day I made a post about my regain in a weight loss support group, and I received a comment of someone saying, well, 165 was her lowest weight, she's gained 20 since then, she used to be one of my weight loss idols. Used to be? This person was saying that because I regained, I was no longer someone that they could look up to on social media. And I felt like that was so crazy and ridiculous and kind of broke my heart. It honestly made me feel very sad and embarrassed for sharing this part of my journey. Because I don't know about you guys, but I really appreciate transparency and authenticity when it comes to people I look up to. It actually really bothers me when I see content creators or weight loss influencers or people that never share the negatives about their journey or the struggles they have. They only present their life like it's this perfect, positive, like sunshine and rainbows thing. And I feel like that's very unfair to people and is probably very frustrating to people to look up to these idols that have a perfect, unachievable life. I mean, that isn't real. That's not authentic. It's not true. And I think I fell into that kind of mindset where I thought that was what people wanted to see. I guess that person did want to see that, and that's why they stopped considering me someone to look up to. But I would rather have real followers that appreciate me and my journey and my failures and my struggles, not people that follow me because they want to see a perfect person. But that was only one comment of the hundreds of messages and comments I received of people expressing their appreciation for me being honest and making them feel like they weren't the only people out there struggling with these issues. So I'm sorry this video kind of took a sad turn at times, but all I really wanted to express is that I know weight gain can cause tons of insecurities. It can get in your head. It can affect your friendships, your relationships, your sex life, your confidence about everything. You have to turn those negative thoughts into positive thoughts. You cannot feed into those. Regain is completely normal. I mean, if you're a human and you're not a fucking robot, no one is perfectly programmed to never make mistakes, never experience regain or a setback. And we have to stop telling ourselves that we're failures or that we failed and understand that you're not alone. There's a reason why so many people struggle with this. It's not easy. And for food addicts, this is a lifelong struggle. And I know some people don't want to hear that, but for me, it is. And especially for people considering weight loss surgery like gastric bypass and VSG. These are the type of things that people are talking about when they say VSG is not a cure-all. Weight loss surgery does not fix all of your problems magically. It's a tool that helps you lose weight, but I hope I don't get any shit for saying this, but the mental struggle with food addiction is almost more difficult than the physical weight loss part. Because once you lose the weight, it can come right back on. I'm not saying that's what's happening to me or to other people. A small amount of regain is perfectly normal. But if you notice those pounds starting to come back on consistently, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing to mentally change my relationship with food? I know I made the physical step. I got this weight off, but maybe there's a reason why it's creeping back up on me. What can I do to make sure I'm not falling back into my old habits of eating for comfort, eating to feel better, and eating for happiness? I have to ask myself this all the time. And what I learned through my regain process is to not be afraid to be open and honest about this part of my journey. There's no reason to feel ashamed or embarrassed or inadequate. Surround yourself with friends, family, a community that will support you and lift you up, and people that want to help you make a change. You know, don't surround yourself with enablers and people that bring you junk food all the time, bring you ice cream, bring you anything that they know is kind of a weakness for you. I mean, would you bring drugs around your friend who struggles with drug addiction and is, I don't know, like a year sober? You wouldn't. And I'm sorry if people think I'm over dramatizing that, but for me, it can really be that challenging and that difficult to say no to things that I'm craving, things that I want. I feel so blessed that I have the online community of you guys on YouTube and Instagram. Even though some people think those comments go unread or don't mean anything, they really do mean the world to me, and they really do motivate me and inspire me. All of you guys inspire me daily. I'm sorry, I'll stop being all mushy-gushy about it, but I love you guys so, so much. Let's keep supporting each other. Please comment if you have any topics you would like me to discuss here on my channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay updated on my future videos. And if you guys feel like following me on Instagram, I will link that below as well. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.